Check, check. Sound check. It looks like I'm good on the sound. I know the lighting's a little bit weird. And what else? My necklaces are totally awesome. It sucks with the mic blocking the necklaces. I don't know if there's a way I can probably fix that, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. But I am so proud of these necklaces because I made these two and I remade this one and I made the earrings too. So just a little bit of a brag, if you don't mind. So thank you for watching this video. It doesn't look like I have anybody in the house yet. We'll see if anyone does come in. I had not given that much announcement time that I was doing this. And it is the last day of August. It's Sunday, the 31st. It's the day before Labor Day. It's 2 days before the much anticipated testimony of little E victims at Congress. And Congress is returning from their long vacation the day after tomorrow. So tomorrow's Labor Day. Today's Sunday. A lot of people are on vacation, and I am making a video because I love doing this so much. And, you know, I've had some family time today. I don't have that much time for a video because I'm going to do some more family stuff. But I just thought I'd come on, say hi, and talk about what you do when the bodies start piling up, because the bodies have started piling up. Well, they've been piling up for a long time. So everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational. All these videos are made for YouTube. It's an infotainment platform. Please hit that like button and share, subscribe, turn on your notification bell to ring. And if you feel like saying hi in the chat, please do so. And then I know that everything's working appropriately. But I'm pretty sure everything's working appropriately, right? So should I not touch anything? I probably shouldn't touch anything, huh? But I'm going to because I like living dangerously. Okay. Just a smidge. And the whole thing's going to come tumbling down. There we go. I think it's all good. So I wanted to go over a list of some people in the Trumpster fire little E orbit who have passed away. It's something I have talked about a great deal and haven't had a ton of specifics. Like there's handfuls of people that I've known about. And then I came across an article that had a good solid list. So I was going to read that article to you guys. We know that Trumpster fire disappeared off the radar from, I think, all of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Allegedly, he went golfing yesterday morning, but I'm still confused about it because there was videotape footage, I think, from far, far away and photographs that were posted. But I think that people put those through AI and found out that they are old. So I don't know if any of them are current. And even if it is current from far away, that could easily be, I don't know, a body double. Who knows? Hey, DYI Drea. Hey, late as always. Happy to be able to stream this today when I'm not working. Thank you for being here, my dear. You are not late. You are early. So we're just getting started. We're right on time. And I don't have that long today, so I'm going to try to get right to the article that I'm wanting to read to you. But first, can I just say something about Caroline with a K, KK, and her damn Peter Pan collars, because I can't take them anymore. Like, she is like nails on a chalkboard to me. And I guess I'm not the only one. I mean, she's just a lying sack of crap, which is, very appropriate with her name being Caroline. Lion. There we go. Anyway, those damn Peter Pan collars and all of her crosses that just, to me, look like they're going to burn through her skin. Because you just can't be lying like that and wearing that. you know, everyone has been talking about the Trumpster fire's health issues. I'm also wondering, like, maybe that was him yesterday. Maybe I'm in left field, right? Maybe he was out golfing and he just ducked out for a few days because he's crapping bricks out of his diaper pants. You know, he's freaking out about what's coming up on Tuesday. And he's trying everything in his power to divert the attention. He's done a fair job of doing that, especially with the CDC stuff. I mean, he's got people scared for their lives, which I think that we all should be when we've got somebody like that in charge. I mean, he's a man without scruples. So let's get to the list. And allegedly, there was actually an ill list with a K at some point, which makes sense to me when you're dealing with people like this. So I started the list. I went back to the list. And I want to go back to 1985 because I want to start with a lawyer of Les Wexner's. Actually, was he a lawyer or was he the accountant? 1985, Shapiro. He passed away. He was Little E's predecessor, so he must have been some type of mathematician, money man, financier, right? So that was 1985. I just found that fascinating because I didn't know anything about this Shapiro guy. I still don't know much, but he was, I think, 42 and very suspicious circumstances. I want to say that he hung himself and was shot. That's what I want to say. Let me see what the AI will tell me real quick. Come on, AI. You can do it. 1985, Shapiro, Leslie Wexner's financier, found deceased. Oh, he was red-roamed. It says in 1985, Arthur Shapiro, an attorney who managed the account for Les Wex Company Limited, we'll say L Company, was red-rummed in Columbus, Ohio. This gangland-style execution occurred just before Shapiro was scheduled to testify before a grand jury regarding an illegal tax scheme. Key details about the case. Arthur Shapiro was a prominent attorney, partner in the Columbus law firm, Short, Shapiro, Kelm, and Warren. March 6, 1985, twice pew-pewed in the noggin at a cemetery after a breakfast meeting in his car. It was mafia style. He was under investigation by the IRS for failing to file tax returns and investing in questionable tax shelters. He was set to testify before a grand jury the next day. Oh, how unfortunate. The next day. That reminds me of Ivana falling down a flight of stairs the day before the big depositions were to begin for her ex-husband and two of her three kids about, the mortgage fraud crap. Anyway, prime suspect, Barry Kessler. I know that name, Barry Kessler. Isn't he part of the story right now? I gotta look that up. My goodness, there's just too much stuff to look up. Barry Kessler. Yeah, that is a current character, I think. Yeah, the history of red rumming business partners by hiring mafia hitmen. Oh, yeah, I do know who this character is. Kessler later died in prison for a separate red rum. He served 18 years before he passed away, but he, of course, has a lot of cross-pollination with Little E. Is that Fred Field? Hello. Hoopla. Nice to see you. How are you today? Beautiful fall day, huh? Let's see, what else should I read about this part? Kessler never admitted to the illing, and he passed away in 05. But I'm going to look up him because somebody was both in a noose and with bullets. And so I'm wondering if maybe that was him. Barry Kessler. Passed away after serving 18 years. Serving 18 years in prison. So this is wild. So he was in Florida. No. This is not working. It's not an uncommon name. Connected to Epstein. Oh, here's another article. This isn't even the one that I was going to read to you guys. It's the title is "More than 24 people linked to Little E have passed away under suspicious circumstances." And yeah, more than 24. And then this article is 22 people. Let's see. Stephen Hoffenberg. Yeah, that's another one. The confusion with Stephen Hoffenberg. Oh, yeah, that is who I was thinking of. Hoffenberg was convicted in 97 for running a massive Ponzi scheme and served 18 years in prison. But the Kessler guy, he passed away. He died really quickly at 49. I remember now. He got really sick. And yeah, I'll get my facts straight. I'll try anyway. Let me go ahead and redo this article that I was talking about. Get going with that. All right. Little E's mysterious passing occurred 6 years ago this month. But there are 22 people in the sketchy billionaire's orbit have also passed away under murky circumstances, fueling fears of a cover-up by powerful figures seeking to erase potential witnesses. From the predator's alleged victims to house managers, lawyers, accountants, investigative journalists, and pimps, the list of unexplained fatalities traces a dark money trail that leads straight to Little E's inner circle, sources say. There were a lot of people entrapped and entangled through Little E's web, and many of those people are gone now, deceased. Private investigator Ed Opperman tells us they are connected through a money trail. Financier Steve Hoffenberg confessed in a final account before his passing that Epstein and JusticeAtooZ, convicted pedos now imprisoned recruiting madam, were taping honey trap videos of sleazy VIPs with underage girls for a cabal of deep state blackmailing power brokers. This whole thing is so much bigger than we know. Like, we are seriously at the tip of the iceberg. in my opinion, that's very, very apparent. Jizz is the tip of the iceberg. Little E is the tip of the iceberg. I think the iceberg being Dear Leader and a bunch of others, a whole bunch of others. It's a lot bigger than him, too. This is in quotes. This puts a lot of high-powered people in very dangerous situations, says the gumshoe and podcaster who was once approached to dig up dirt on an Little E victim in Hoffenberg. Hoffenberg, the former Towers financial CEO and Little E associate, passed away in 2022 at 77 years old after serving 18 years for a $500,000 Ponzi scheme. He cooperated with the FBI and spoke out about his former protege's alleged connections to Israel's national intelligence agency, Mossad. I don't think that can be underscored. I know some people want to argue about that, and I think any argument against it is just sort of like dotting your I's and crossing your T's. He was maybe not an asset, but he was definitely an informant at the very least. But he was also selling arms to them. While Maxwell, 63, is serving 20 years for X-trafficking, Little E himself became part of the growing body count in August of 2019, when he was found dangling inside his New York City jail at 66 in what officials deemed a self-injurious, accidental, natural misadventure. Sorry. I just can't help it. I mean, it's so insane. But his brother, Mark, calls Red Rum. His cellmate, oh, this is good, you guys. Oh, my goodness. I did not know this until reading this article. His cellmate that they removed out of the cell, like the same day or the day before he was found in there, not alive, he passed away a year and a few months later, conveniently. So his cellmate, Efren Stone Reyes, 51, passed away November 2020, just weeks after talking with the federal investigators probing the monstrous money man's passing away. Interesting. That's not suspicious at all. Reyes was transferred out of Little E's jail cell just one day before the bigwigs found deceased. 3 of Little E's outspoken accusers also have suspiciously perished. Virginia Giuffre, 41, found deceased April 25th in an apparent self-unaliving, while ex-slave Carolyn Adriano, 36, and ex-slave Lee Sky Packard, 29, both passed away from drug overdoses in May of 2023 and May of 2017. The 3 women are not the only deceased related to Little E's days in West Palm Beach, Florida, where he was accused of abusing and pimping out dozens of young girls. Kids. Let's stick with calling them children, kids, young girls, like they did in this article. Too often, even myself included, we end up calling them like underage women or something stupid like that. These are like youngsters, okay? Juveniles. And tweens, some of them, allegedly. Despite overwhelming evidence of his purported obscene operation, Little E received a sweetheart deal orchestrated by the feds in 2008 that was allowed to plead guilty to 2 state prostitution charges and served only 13 months in a Cushy County jail work release program. We all know about that. Joe Riccieri, the Palm Beach detective who led the Little E investigation and pushed officials for justice, happened to pass away on May 25th, 2018, after a brief illness at 50. Little E's ex-butler, Alfredo Rodriguez, who swiped his former boss's infamous little black book. I guess you would say that might be the list, right? And offered to sell it to an undercover FBI agent. He also passed away in December of 2014 of I'm not going to say it right, mesothelioma, some kind of cancer. I'm not sure if that's like from asbestos or what, but you got to remember too that a lot of illnesses and cancers can be hits because people can be poisoned, right? I mean, that happens a lot, especially when you're dealing with that country that used to be the USSR, the one that's ran by Daddy Vladdy. So can't say it. It is the asbestos one. Mesothelioma. No, I'm not saying it right. Anyway, that word at 60, I think it's especially harder with the braces. After serving 13 months in federal prison on obstruction of justice charges, per the Independent, 2 high-powered attorneys who helped Little E skate in the West Palm Beach case have also passed away. Kenneth Starr in September of 2022 at 76 after surgical complications, and Roy Black, 80, who passed away last month at home. This was written this month in August, just a couple of weeks ago. Marvin Minsky, the MIT artificial intelligence pioneer named in Giuffre's Little E allegations, suffered a fatal cerebral hemorrhage in January of 2016 at 88, while Ron Eppinger, a Miami pimp who was allegedly the first to traffic Giuffre, passed away at 80 in November 06, which is interesting that it just happens to be right at the beginning of the Sweetheart deal, 06. Because they really try to say that Ron Eppinger had nothing to do with Little E or Little T. And, you know, it was a totally different city. It was Miami, which is like an hour south of where they were by Boca Raton, where the Mar-a-Lago is. But I don't know. When you're in the same line of business, it seems likely that they knew each other. In my humble conspiracy theory opinion, allegedly. 2 investigative journalists chasing the Little E scandal have also met their end. Former NYPD detective and Epstein book author John Conley passed away January 2022 at 78. Per New York Post celebrity biographer Wendy Lee's body was found beneath her London balcony in May 2016. Her passing remains questioned as initial reports suggested self-unaliving, but her agent emphasized that the 65-year-old's optimistic view on life would be counterintuitive to that. 6 other Epstein associates have also passed away over the years. Jean-Luc Brunel, 75, a French modeling agency boss, awaiting trial for allegedly trafficking girls to Little E and Little T, allegedly, was found hanging inside a Paris prison cell in February 2022. Movie producer Steve Bing, 55, plunged from the 27th floor of his LA apartment building in June 2020 after talking to the FBI about Epstein. Hello, Anna Bees. Lovely to see you, my dear. Just in the middle of an article about the pile of remains related to the Little E. Mark Middleton, 59 years old, an advisor to former President Bill Clinton with ties to Little E, was found, this was the guy, hanged and shot in Arkansas. Hanged and shot. This is the best part. Sorry, tongue-in-cheek, sarcasm. In May 2022, in what was ruled a suicide. He was found hanging and shot, and it was ruled a suicide. That seems so far-fetched. Without knowing any of the details, it seems so far-fetched. Sounds a lot like the unexplained deaths in Truckee, Reno. Yeah, it does, doesn't it, Fred? You are correct. It's exactly what it sounds like. Like that one guy who stabbed himself 17 times. Right. In the back, no less, in his backside. Epstein Palin, former New Mexico. Oh, this is interesting. The New Mexico governor, Bill Richardson, passed away in his sleep in September of 2023 at 75. And physicist Stephen Hawking, who is known to have visited Little Ease Island, passed away in his UK home March 2018 at 76 per CNN. There are also unusual passings following Little E, even before he became a household name. The death toll began 40 years ago when the since disgraced mogul began working as a trusted financial advisor for tycoon Les Wicks, the L Brands founder and former owner of lingerie company Victoria's Secret and fashion retailer Abercrombie & Fitch. Little E's predecessor at L Brands, 43-year-old lawyer Arthur Shapiro, was pew-pewed down in March 85, just weeks before he was expected to be questioned by the IRS about illegal tax shelters. And that's funny because the other thing that I read to you guys, or I was looking at, AI said it was the day before he was testifying in front of the grand jury. But this is why you always want to cross-reference, and we can't trust anything from AI or from the internet, really. You always need to cross-reference, fact-check yourself, let others fact-check for you, and, just keep digging for the truth and using your own discernment and keeping an open mind that even when you have cross-checked, cross-referenced, sometimes you just never know. Soon after Shapiro's passing, Little E took over managing Wicks's finances. FBI documents mention Shapiro's unsolved red rum and the sex peddler's possible link to prime suspect Barry L. Kessler. He passed away at 84 in 2005 inside a Georgia federal prison after being convicted a decade earlier of masterminding two separate red rum for hire plots unrelated to Shapiro. Now, Jiz Max, the only known living E accomplice currently behind bars. That's ridiculous. She's not the only known living Little E accomplice. There are 4 other women who are younger than her, maybe 5. I have their names written down. I don't think they're in this notebook. They might be. But I shared the names of them with you guys a couple of weeks ago. So those people are still alive. The only known living E accomplice. Well, that absolves everyone, huh? Mysteriously transferred from a Florida penitentiary to a minimum security facility in Texas that has no surveillance cameras or recordings. Maxwell's brother Ian says that his sister is not self-harming. She's not self-injurious, and experts believe the deep state cabal wants to make sure the last remaining witness is silenced. An insider warned she's got a bullseye on her back. Well, yeah. I mean, rightfully so. I'm not saying that that's ever appropriate to take someone out, but what time is it? Yeah, we need to think about wrapping up. Anna B says, I was on Facebook yesterday and I saw an article that Virginia wrote a book and it's supposed to be released September or October. I think it's going to be released October 21st. And I might have the title of it written down. I might not. Or I probably have it written down, but I wouldn't be able to find it quickly, right? That's usually the case. there are a lot of good books. I want to read Michael Wolff's latest called All or Nothing about the Trumpster fire. And that title alludes to gambling. I've wondered often if gambling is part of the picture with El Presidente that never gets talked about. I mean, having the Trump Tower casino in Vegas, having the whole Taj Mahal thing in Atlantic City. Yeah, he probably is a gambler. That's probably why he's got this insatiable need for cash. Like, he's still trying to swindle his followers, his MAGA crew, out of like $50. Like, he's still sending out emails like, I'm trying to get into heaven, can you help me? Send me anything, every little bit helps. It's insane. Fire and Fury by Michael Lewis is another one that I want to read. But yeah, I mean, Hulk Hogan is another one on that list that nobody talks about when he passed away a couple months ago. I thought that was suspicious. Could just be me. So, of course, the three executives in 1989 that in that chopper crash that Trumpster Fire said he could have been on. Hey, Helby, what's up? Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. But yeah, the Stephen Being falling out of a building after talking to the FBI, that's pretty wild. And then in 2021, we got to remember 2 days after the insurrection, Trumpster Fire's doctor, I think it's Harold Bornstein, the guy who said that Trump dictated that letter where he said he was the healthiest specimen of a fine human being ever. That guy, Bornstein, was found deceased from undisclosed causes at an undisclosed location 2 days after the insurrection. And then also just a few months before that insurrection, Ivana's most recent, no, it was a few months after the insurrection, 2021. I think it was like November of 2021 that Ivana's most recent husband passed away, who had cancer and 2 other massive diseases. I can't even remember, like liver failure. I mean, it was bad, but he was 49 years old, I think. It's crazy. So first Harold Bornstein in January, and then later that year, Ivana's most current ex-husband, and then a few months after that, Ivana herself. And let's see. So Mark Middleton was the one who was dangling and with bullets. And he advised both Bill Clinton and Little E. That's crazy. So this year we've had Virginia Giuffre, Hulk Hogan, and Roy Black connected to this. And maybe there's others that I'm not thinking of at the moment. There was a banker named Thomas Bowers who was found dangling in 2019. There was a detective in 2018, Joe Riccari, I think was his name. I don't remember if that one was in the article or not. This one was in the article. Alfredo Rodriguez, the butler who stole Little E's Little Black Book. That was in 2014. And let's see. Two journalists, Wendy Lee and John Conley, 2016 and 2022. Jean-Luc Brunel, 2022. So he passed away. He was Epsteined, exact same way Epstein was Epsteined. But in France, I think it was February 2022. So it was just a few months, like 4-5 months before, I think that's 4 months before Jiz's sentencing. And then 2 weeks and 2 days after Jiz's sentencing was when Ivana fell down the stairs. And remember, Ivana was really tight with Jiz, right? She knew everything. Did you guys hear about that grandfather who was arrested for drugging his 2 granddaughters, like putting ecstasy and Coca-Cola capsules in their soft serve ice cream at Dairy Queen or something like that? Like they found them, and then he was the one who called the police, but then they found videotape surveillance of him doing it. Freaking gross. So gross. Trying to rug his own children. So not on that list was Robert Maxwell. That was 1991. And then I think that kind of covers it. Starting with Little E's predecessor in 1985, Arthur Shapiro. What a list. What a list. He thinks he can buy his way into heaven. So ridiculous. Well, it is ridiculous, but I think that there's ulterior motives. I think that he and his camp are just trying to lay the foundation of his passing away so that, I don't know, he could fake his own passing away today and then he wouldn't be around to get prosecuted or be in any trouble for any of the testimony that's coming down the pike the day after tomorrow. He could also have extradited himself to Daddy Vladdy, where he would be protected, and he could pull a Roman Polanski. Polanski's still alive. I mean, he rugged and raped a 13-year-old in the 70s, and he escaped, I think, to France like the night before he was going to get sentenced, and still making movies, still living. I think he's in his 90s now. But I fully suspect Trumpster Fire to do anything other than get his hiney nailed to the wall on Tuesday. And I don't even know if any of these people that are scheduled to testify have anything to say about him. My guess is that they very well might, even if they're not going to say it. But that would be very stressful for him, even if he knows they're not going to say it. Just knowing that they're testifying, just getting that much closer to the truth. The other day, he was standing next to, I think it was Mark Rubio. Was it Mark Rubio or no, it was Kash Patel. Kash Patel was standing next to Dear Donnie at some type of presser, and Kash was talking about busting human transporters, especially the ones that hurt kids. And Trumpster Fire was standing right next to him with his eyes closed the entire time he was talking. I was wondering if he thinks like a 2-year-old, and if he was thinking, if I close my eyes, nobody will see me standing here. I mean, it was unreal. Did you guys see that? That was unreal. His eyes were closed or close to closed the entire time Kash Patel was talking. I'll try to find a link to that and put it in the description. Interesting. Why so many attached to Little T have terrible misadventures? Well, and this is just a short list. I mean, the list that I was reading, the article, that didn't even mention Ivana. That didn't mention her 3 other ex-husbands, which there are 3 that are deceased. 2 that she was actually married to, and 1 that she wasn't actually married to. But then the first one that she was married to prior to Dear Leader, you can't find anything about him, whether he's deceased or alive. You just can't. Like, everything on the internet is scrubbed. It's crazy. And I've heard both. I've come across information that says that he's deceased, and I've come across information that says that he's not deceased. So, but the other two that she married and divorced, those two are both deceased. And then the one that she didn't marry, that had a misadventure in his car in Italy when he was visiting his family like 2 days before Christmas. That was really sad. And they weren't married, but they were together for a long time. So it was as if they were married. And then, this doesn't even mention like Princess Diana. I mean, she was affiliated with Little E. Little E was her seat warmer. You guys have heard that, right? Michael Wolff talks about that a lot in his interviews, that at any kind of social event, like a dinner or gathering, Princess Diana was not allowed to have an empty seat next to her. If there was an empty seat next to her, it was Little E's job to fill that seat. So he was connected to her. And then there was the whole thing that Michael Wolff reports on, that that Little E and Little T had a bet going of like trigger warning, especially with Princess Diana. It's just a hideous thought that they had a bet of who could get her in bed first. And then the whole thing with Dodie, that she was with the night that she passed away. His father was, I think Trump bought a yacht from his father or something like that. Like, all these people ran in the same circles. And so, yeah, I think that Princess Diana needs to be on that list as well. It is more likely that Little T will have to buy his way out of Hades rather than into heaven. LOL. That's a really wise statement there, Fred. That's funny, not funny. Yeah, it's really wild the way he's talking about heaven. And like I said, I think that his people are just trying to get everybody used to the idea of him passing away. And, even to go so far as have the Vice President J.D. Vance in an interview a few days ago talking about what he would do if something were to happen to Dear Leader. Would he be prepared to take the helm? And he's like, damn straight I would be. I've been doing it for 200 days already, and best on the job training you could ask for. I mean, what a nut job. And yeah, you could see him helping grease the wheels with that, couldn't you? Him and his boyfriend. I really think he's the boy toy for Peter Thiel. It wouldn't make sense why Peter Thiel both paid for his education at Yale and basically paid for his political campaign here in Ohio to become a senator, and then I'm sure kicked in a lot of money to the ticket. I think he was the one who strong-armed that J.D. Vance would be the VP, because Trumpster Fire didn't want him. I think Trumpster Fire wanted Kennedy. I think he wanted that fool to be on the ticket, just because he's obsessed with the Kennedys, just like he's taken over the Kennedy Center and now he's going to name it the Trump Center. Because, yeah, Kennedy and Trump has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Kennedy, Trump, Trump, Kennedy, the campaign. But yeah, I don't think that Trumpster Fire wanted J.D. Vance, and he was strong-armed not just by Peter Thiel, but allegedly by Elon as well. Man, the artificial intelligence, the technology, It's nuts. It's just moving at such a rapid pace. So back to where I started, I think this video, I think I started with whether it was actually Don in the flesh yesterday that was sighted golfing, or if that was all recycled footage and photographs and or body double. I mean, I think it's real. I think it's serious. I think he believed that nobody would care about the victims with the little E crap. And he just didn't see this coming. Like, he's always had the full ability and capacity to tell people what to think, how to think, what to say, and to basically write the narrative however he wants. And it's not really happening this time. And September 2nd is coming a lot faster than he could have imagined. And he procrastinates, you know? It's not till the day after tomorrow, so maybe he hasn't left the country yet. I don't know. And we'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens the day that Congress is back in session. It'll be very interesting to see. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I need to get going and do some stuff. I hate to cut it so short, especially when we've got a nice handful of people here live. So thanks for being here. Hope you have a wonderful holiday weekend. And I'm planning on doing a video tomorrow. So be there or be square. I'll shoot for around 2 o'clock, maybe. Yeah, I'll shoot for around 2 o'clock. So love and light. Have a really good afternoon and drink your water, eat your protein and your veggies.